Hi everybody, thanks for joining us here for Northern Ag TV. I'm Colter Brown. Well, this week is going to be all about conventions and bull sales for us. Of course, many of us are going to be in Great Falls today for the Montana Grain Growers 69th Annual Convention as growers from across the state come to discuss the future of the industry. I know on the way to Great Falls, Amelia Soroki and Grace McDonald are going to stop at the Stevenson Angus Bull Sale, so that'll be a fun time. Our network's Brett McCrae is going to be the MC for the Sitz Angus pre-sale dinner on Wednesday, so definitely going to be a busy week. Of course, one of our highlights is getting to our live noon market report broadcast for the crowd, both at the Grain Growers and of course at the Montana Stock Growers Convention. We'll be meeting in Billings Wednesday through Friday. We'll also be live with the Voices of Montana talk show at the Montana Wool Growers Convention in Billings on Friday. And then Taylor Brown will be headed back to Great Falls for the Montana Cattlemen's meeting where he'll serve on a panel discussing estate planning and succession planning for farms and ranches. It is a busy week. You know, we talk about that Montana Stock Growers Convention. I caught up with President John Grande, who told me about just some of the highlights they're going to cover this week. It's a lot of informational workshops, some great speakers, the trade show, and of course, policy discussing some critical issues.
Different people come for different reasons. Some people really like the educational opportunities. Some people want to take a deep dive into the policies and set in our direction of where we go in the legislature and everything. Some people just come because they want to visit out in the halls, and all those things are valid. But it's a sold-out trade show again, and there's some fundraising going on too. We'll have our political action committee. You know, we'll be raising money for our foundation. We'll be raising money in other ways, and just come to be involved. It's great. Our membership is growing, so we have a lot of new people coming. It's a great time to hear some really interesting speakers and just get to participate in driving the direction of the industry.
Well, the Wyoming Weed and Pest Council voted to add cheatgrass to the state's designated noxious weed list. If it's approved by the Wyoming Board of Agriculture, it'll become the 32nd species added to the list, joining other invasive annual grasses Ventonana and Medusa head. A recent study by the University of Wyoming found that cheatgrass impacts an estimated 5.7 million acres in Wyoming, and an additional 10 million acres are estimated to have cheatgrass in low amounts. Agricultural losses on those impacted rangelands estimated at $29 million and could reach $110 million if all suitable habitats become affected. And the Wyoming Livestock Board held their fall meeting recently, and they elected some new leadership and also spent quite a bit of time discussing the USDA's new animal disease traceability rule, of course, that requiring electronic ID tags in breeding cattle crossing state lines. After much discussion, resolutions were drafted directing the board to seek memorandums of understanding with other states regarding movement of livestock to and from Wyoming without the requirement of EID tags. Now also there at the meeting, board members Sean Sims and Kirby Camino retired with their places taken by Mary Owens of Casper, who was elected president, and Hugh Hagman of Laramie elected vice president. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back to talk about our ag markets after this.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Talking with someone that you know is stressed out, those are difficult things to approach, but if you're good friends with those people, reach out and say, I'm here to talk to you. We can find somewhere to get some assistance. It's hard to get involved, but at the same time, you want to just say, hey, there is help available.
For more tips in dealing with stress in agriculture or for free counseling for egg producers, visit beyondtheweather.com.
Thanks for sticking around for a look at our markets. Cattle futures opened December by moving higher, but it wasn't long before there was some recognition that this feeder board is overbought, and we did see that correction lower that we've been expecting for some time. Now, given that we're still seeing restrictions from live cattle imports from Mexico and just the overall tight supplies of cattle, I don't think this is a bearish turn in the market, but we'll see how long the correction lower lasts. We did see a very positive week in cash-fed cattle trade last week. We were up $3 to $5 with live sales averaging $190, dressed at $296.64. A lot to cover on the bred cow market today. The Vermilion Ranch held their fall female and bull sales. Strong results all around. Excuse me, just shy of 1,400 commercial bred heifers averaged 3302, up 22% from last year. Coming 8-year-old bred cows averaged 2781. The bulls topped out with 3 lots selling at $40,000. Overall, 292 bulls averaged $10,864, besting last year by 33%. Now in St. Ange, over 3,000 bred cows sold. Bred heifers $2,500 to $3,000. 3 to 5-year-old cows from $2,600 to $3,300. The solid-mouth bred cows $2,300 to $2,600, and short-term cows $1,810 to $2,100. And the grain market didn't get up to much of anything to open December. Just kind of the same old story for wheat. Pressure from world wheat values and Russia still exporting grain despite talk of a quota on exports. And southern hemisphere wheat harvest is weighing on the market, with Australian production expected to be 8 to 9 million metric tons above last year. The first session of December closed with winter wheat at 523 and spring wheat at 561. That's going to do it for today's Northern Ag TV. Thanks much for joining us. Take care.